All right, we are live. Welcome back to the show, everyone. We start at 8 p.m., 7:50, but we are going to take this time to allow people to just slowly be able to tune in on Facebook and YouTube. And if you are on Facebook and YouTube watching this, please join our community. The link is here. That's from thechan.c/discord. You can ask your questions there. And those are the questions that I'm going to be try to answering during the Thursdays 8 to 9 p.m. sessions. We call these sessions leadership stack live. And tonight we actually have an interesting question because this person emailed me and she wanted to consult with me, and she's going to just start up her company. And I said, instead of consulting and paying for an hour of my time, because I charge for one-on-one consulting, why don't you just throw your question on my leadership stack live? And that's Thursdays 8 to 9 p.m. And that's exactly what you did. So I'm going to be answering that question this 8 p.m. Now, we don't have a lot of questions, so we might end early tonight. Or I might share something that I have learned this week. Let's see how it goes. Meanwhile, if you haven't joined the community, the link is here from thechan.c/discord. You will be able to join the Discord server that I host, and you can post your businesses there. If you have webinars up and coming, podcasts up and coming, or if there's new learnings by me or any member of my community, you will be able to also get notified as well. And I also notify you whenever we're about to go live and you have questions. You get notifications from me from Discord. So it is actually very beneficial for you if you're tuning in to join our Discord channel. Again, the link is here. So please do join us there. This week, we published 2 episodes on the podcast. That is about Tracy Bissett. She is my guest all the way from the USA. And I'm just going to be showing you the Leadership Stack podcast channel on Spotify. Let me just stream that and share my screen. So we have 2 new publications. That's September 15 and September 17. And the guest here is Miss Tracy Bissett. She is all about getting financially fit. And if you are someone who thinks that your finances don't look so well or you're struggling, you might want to tune in the podcast. It's a 17-minute episode and a 19-minute episode, so it's not really going to take too much of your time, but I'm sure you will learn a lot because I learned a lot asking her questions in these 2 episodes. And if you've missed the episodes about sales, that is with Mr. Carlos Castaño, a good friend of mine, you can tune in. That starts from August 27. That is the episodes about sales. So August 27, September 1, September 3, September 8. And you can tune in, listen to those podcasts as well. One very interesting podcast session is the number 1 sales tactic. That is something that I really enjoyed recording, and I'm sure you will learn a lot from there as well. So if you haven't followed the podcast yet on Spotify, you can do so. Just search for the Leadership Stack podcast or just type in leadership, and you can see that it is number 3 or number 2 when it comes to podcasts here in the Philippines and when it comes to leadership. So yeah, just use Spotify's search function. Why don't you? Thank you for tuning in, Mr. JC Del Rosario. from Facebook, ang pinakamayaman na kliyente ko. He owns Juan Carlo Catering, of course, named after him because that's how rich he is. So he's tuning in here today. Huwag ka na magkalat ng comments dyan, bro. Okay na yon. And yeah, again, if you have questions, you want to follow up, you have follow-up questions, just go to the link below from the tron.c/discord, post your questions there. We are going to tackle it for tonight. And since we don't have a ton of questions tonight, we might end early. Unless may pahabol kayo, then you better post it straight away. It's also been a busy week for me because we have a lot of work in SEO Hacker. So actually, if you're looking for work and you want to start a career in the digital marketing industry, please do send me your resume. I'm going to just show you our hiring site. Let's see if I have it memorized. Now let's share the screen with you. There you go. So yes, we are hiring SEO Hacker. We are looking for people to help us. We have a ton of open positions because of the work that we need to do, and we want to do it excellently. So if you're anywhere here, age 20 to 40, you're looking for a full-time job, or right now maybe you're looking for a part-time job, that's okay. But we work our hearts out for our clients, so we usually give it our all. Fresh grads are welcome to apply, and we are a very young team. If you didn't know, I'm 32 years old. Everyone is younger than me. And yes, if you know someone who's looking for a job, you want to share this video to them, no problem. The URL, by the way, is seohacker.services/jobs. Why work with us? Well, we have a ton of seminars and workshops that are free. And I host some of them, but some of them are from paid speakers and entrepreneurs as well. So we have leadership programs as well, and we train you in all of these things. We also have an office in BF Parañaque, but right now we're all working from home because we're more concerned about the health of our people. So we don't ask anyone to go into the office since January. But if you're wondering how our office looks like, it looks pretty neat, if you ask me. We had it renovated. And we have, as you can see, a ton of openings. We have admin assistant, developers, writers, link builders, blog managers, designers, project managers. Oh man, we have a lot of openings right now. And if you think you are a good fit, please do send us your resume. You can send it here. So let me just open one of these. Say link building. So we have the form here. It's right here on the sidebar. You can just send us the details right here, and we will get back to you. So I also suggest that you read the entire write-up, because if you don't, then the chances of you getting hired become much lower. So please read through the entire thing. We have what the ideal candidate will have right here, what winning looks like for that position, a few things we want you to know, and some benefits as well. If you're wondering, the address is here. That is the address of our office. But again, we are all working remotely. So if you're based in Cebu, Visayas, Mindanao, then feel free to apply, because right now we're all working remotely. And as far as I can see, it's going to be that way until sometime 2022, probably, because there's no vaccine. I don't think we're anywhere near getting to a vaccine yet. And if we are getting a vaccine, it does need to go through distribution channels. And so it's still going to be a long while before we get there. If you want to know about the company, SEO Hacker, the team, history, everything is here. So before you apply, you can do your research, whether you think you would like to work with us or not. And that's really up to you. All right. It's 8 p.m. and I'm going to start answering the question. Again, we don't have a lot of questions tonight, so we might end a little bit early, and that's fine. But if you do have questions, please post it in the Discord channel. There's the link right there from dachon.c/discord. Just type that URL, join the Discord server, and you'll be part of our community immediately. So you can post your questions there, especially if you're looking at consulting with me, doing a one-on-one instead of getting me and paying me 1 hour, which is, it's also, if you're starting up, that's money you could have saved. So instead of just doing that, just ask your questions here, no problem. Food business, yes, of course, you can ask anything. Any business, actually pretty much anything, just ask anything, that's fine. So I'm gonna honor the first question from Jin because she emailed me and I told her to go here and she did, and she asked her question here, and I'm gonna read the question to you guys right now. Hi Sean, I would like to introduce a frozen product in the market, imported from Singapore. I started selling it online and people are very receptive. I would like to make it an official legal business. Paperwork's almost done, already FDA approved. Once I get my import license, I can have it shipped in big quantity to utilize the shipping fee. But I'm a bit unsure on how many packs I will order from supplier dahil wala pa talaga pagbabagsakan. My target is to sell it in the supermarket or groceries, but I don't have the sample products pa until I ship it. Anong magandang diskarte sa situation ko? All right, there's a lot of implications and intricacies with this question. Jin, if you're tuning in, I assume you are because this is your question. Here's the thing. Importation is a tricky business because the more quantity of that item or product that you import, the cheaper it is for you in terms of a per piece. So if you're going to be selling it, mas malaking kikitain mo. The profits are bigger if you order a huge quantity. But if you're not sure how much you can really sell over time, unless you're always out of stock. See, if you're always out of stock, meaning everything's getting sold out every time you have it imported, then you haven't really figured out how much you can sell. So if you import something and then there's inventory left over, that means you have to play around somewhere that quantity. So you have to import and increase your quantity until there are some pieces of inventory left over. Then that tells you that, oh, okay, this is the market demand right now. There's two ways to sell out your inventory. Meet existing market demand. And if you sell out your inventory by meeting existing market demand, it means the market demand is huge or your inventory is few. In your case, I think your inventory might be few because you're starting out, you're testing it, etc. And you're actually meeting market demand because I think you're selling out right now everything. So another thing is create market demand. And this is by advertisements. This is by being a thought leader. This is by creating content, tapping influencers. There's a lot of ways to create more demand. So, in my opinion, right now, what you need to do is to increase your order quantities, your imports, until na-meet na yung demand and there's inventory left over. After that, there's two ways you can go. Number one, figure out how to create more demand for your product. Number two, play around that number. And yun lang yung ipadala mo ditong import. Because that's the market demand. And any more than that, you're risking it already unless, as you said, you're going to be supplying groceries and supermarkets already. But it's going to be a very different ballgame if you're going to be supplying supermarket and groceries because they do get a hefty amount of consignment fee or cut. May percentage na sila if you're going to sell it through them. And you have to figure out because technically they're going to be partly your competitor. Kasi yung pricing doon, hindi mo na pwede galawin. So whatever your pricing is in the grocery or supermarket, it has to be the price that you're selling it as well on your end, kahit na direct selling ka. Because if you make it cheaper when you do direct sales, there's a chance that the supermarket or the grocery stores would approach you and say, "Why are you selling it cheaper? I thought we had an agreement. I thought we're the ones to distribute your product." So there is that chance. I'm not saying that's 100% what's going to happen, but there is that chance. So it's going to limit you from selling directly, which is probably where you're going to make the most profit. But on the other end of the spectrum, if you're going to sell through supermarkets and groceries, volume play ka. May volume ka naman. Now, how I see it as an entrepreneur, market demand does not last forever. Meaning, if you go through the volume route through supermarkets and groceries, you're gonna satisfy market demand. And since it's food, frozen product in the market, what happens is if the market is satisfied for a long term, the demand diminishes. Eh. So I would rather, in my opinion, for me, I would rather play it in such a way that demand is always there, and mas gusto ko pang ma-out of stock ako kaysa sa readily available siya na liliit yung profit margin ko, pero volume play. I would rather not do volume play and play it smart. One of the businesses that has done this phenomenally is Carmen's Best. For me, they have done this phenomenon kasi pili lang where they are. They're not in each and every grocery store. They're not in each and every supermarket store. Pumipili lang sila because they want the market demand to also still be there always, all the time. They don't want to satisfy market demand because if you do satisfy it, what happens is the demand diminishes. So I think how they're doing it is really good. So if there's a company that you should study, it's Carmen's Best. How they're doing it. They're also doing it frozen product, but it's manufactured here in the Philippines because actually the dairy that they use is from their own farm, and that's actually very commendable. No, pure Pinoy startup, and even the raw materials are Filipino. So galing. So that is, in my opinion, how I'm going to be doing it if it was me na didiskarte dito. I hope I answered your question. And Jin, if you have a follow-up question with that, you can post it. No problem. I will get to that pa rin. Mad Mags, from Mad Mags, he says, I started a roasted chicken business 2 weeks ago. This is a physical store. Almost all who have tried our product says it was good naman. But until now, almost every day negative pa rin kami. What should we do? All right. I have a lot of questions to ask behind this question. No? Kasi I don't know why you're negative eh. There could be a lot of reasons why you're negative. Could be excess manpower. Could be rent that you don't really need. Or mahal ng renta mo. It could be you're not selling so much. And there is a question mark with how good your product really is. Maybe people are saying your product is good, but compared to some other chicken brand out there, it's okay, diba? Because you have to qualify the question, no? Is it good compared to all the other chicken brands out there, or is it good and that's it? So not selling so much. All right. So how you can improve this is by improving your product. If it's not selling so much, dalawa lang yan. You improve your product or you improve your marketing. Okay? An average product can sometimes sell a lot if the marketing is good. So there are two ways you can go about it. Product. What can you improve about the product? I am not an expert when it comes to food and chicken. I love eating chicken, but I'm not an expert in chicken. So I'm not sure how you can improve your product further, but there has to be something that differentiates it from the others. Diba? One example is ang dami ng roasted chicken business out there, diba? Baliwag, Senior Pedro, Andox, Chokes to Go, and some of these players late na sila nakapasok eh. But they did well because there's a differentiator. Laging may unique selling proposition sila na wala yung iba. So even if it's how you sell. Like, meron kang extra na ganito, bonus na ganyan. It's not the taste, but it's how you sell. product differentiator pa rin yun. It's still a unique selling proposition. Another way you can go about it is marketing. How much are you marketing your product? Are you posting on social media? A lot of people are on social media right now. A lot of people are posting, taking really good photos. Actually, if you're in the food business, what you need to do is make people on social media hungry. That's it. You need to make people on social media hungry. Kailangan nila makita yung food mo na sobrang sarap, tapos magugutom sila, mag-i-inquire yan. They might not order yet, maybe not on the first time, maybe not on the second time, but maybe on the third time they'll place an order. Who knows? But if your food is not in people's faces on social media, hindi ka nila maalala. Hindi ka nila kukontakin. There's really no way that people are gonna get in touch with you and place an order. So that's the other way to go about it. In my opinion, the marketing has to be done. Marketing has to be done. Even if sabihin mo sa akin, Sean, saturated na, ang dami nang nagpo-post ng food sa social media, ang dami nang nagpo-post ng cloud kitchen stuff, but it works. That's why they're doing that. And if you're not doing that, you're missing out and you're leaving money on the table. Sayang yung kikitain mo sana. So, can you do both? Yes. Improve your product and USP and then market that on social media. That's definitely going to work. So you have to figure this out, because if you're not selling so much, but people are saying your product is good, there is something they're not telling you, and you have to figure that out. One way that you can is not by asking them, is the food good, but by asking them, if you didn't know the product or you didn't know me, would you still buy this product? Would you still buy my food? Or would you refer this food, this roasted chicken, to a friend or to a family? And if you would refer it, how strongly would you recommend it from a scale of 1 to 10? And so you know if they're going to promote the product, about word of mouth. Word of mouth marketing is still the best form of marketing. So what you would want to know is, how strongly are they going to promote your product to friends and family? That's a question I'd probably ask now. Not about how good is the food, but more of, how strongly would you promote this roasted chicken to your friends and family? If they answer a 9 or a 10, fantastic. You're quite sure that they're going to promote it. If they answer a 7 or an 8, probably not. They're probably neutral. If they answer 6 or less, they have something wrong with your product that they're not telling you. We call these people detractors. Okay? 6 or below yung sagot nila, we call them detractors. There's something wrong with your food, your product, or your service, the way you serve your roasted chicken, and they're not telling you that. So believe in the net promoter score, not in whether they say your food is good or not. And I always ask open-ended questions. Don't ask questions with a yes or no. So open-ended questions would be that example. Well, if you answered 9 or 10, why? Why do you feel like you're gonna promote it strongly to friends and family? And if they say, because it's the first time that I've ever tasted chicken this good, then you know you have something working for you there. That's an open-ended question. It cannot be answered with a yes or no. If they answered 7 or 8, which means they're neutral, they're probably not going to do anything, then your question would be, what can move that to a 9 or a 10? What can make you a promoter? What can move that score to a 9 or a 10? And if their answer is 6 and below, an open-ended question could be, well, what can we do to improve that to a 9 or a 10? Or what can we do to improve that even to a 7 or an 8, so that they're not detractors anymore? So you ask these questions, you'll get more info and you learn more so that you can improve your product. The next question. Oh, I hope I answered your question there. The next question would be from Monster Wings. Thanks, Sir Sean, for sharing your thoughts. Oh, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. And from Iggy Rabehe. Thank you for tuning in from Facebook. Happy you're here. We have a question from Patrick. Patrick Miguel. Yeah, what's your take on multi-level marketing? Do you think their products are overpriced? Is it a good marketing strategy? Well, the fact that you're asking it right now, I think that they're doing well in terms of marketing, because if not, you will not know who they are. So, a lot of multi-level marketing companies have a bad rap to them, right? Let's be honest. Sinasabi, pyramid or scam. But there's actually a lot of MLM companies that are legitimate and have really good products. What MLM tries to do is usually cut the middlemen, the grocery stores, the malls, because the grocery stores and the malls would charge you 28% or 30% na consignment fee, and laki nun. So if you're selling a product for 1,000 pesos, they get 300 just by you placing it in the mall or the grocery store, and you're left with 700 pesos. So MLM is trying to cut that. And instead of paying that 300 pesos to the mall, that 30%, or the grocery store, they would rather pay it out to their direct salespeople, which is the people selling for the MLM company. Gian, yes, I answered your question already. Sayang di mo naabutan, but the replay is gonna be on my Facebook profile anyway, or on my Facebook page. You can watch the replay, no problem. Or you can, I think you can drag the timeline to an earlier part, so you can still watch the replay. My answer to your question. So with MLM, are their products overpriced? Well, if you think buying from the malls or the grocery stores or supermarkets are not overpriced, then the MLMs are not overpriced. That's my opinion, because again, the grocery stores and the malls, may patong silang may cut si mall and si grocery store 25, 28, 30%. So you're paying 30% more somewhere there whenever you buy something from the mall, or whenever you buy something from the grocery store or the supermarket. Yes, it's that big if you didn't know. So if you're willing to buy from the mall, grocery stores, or supermarkets, then MLM is not overpriced. That's my opinion, because I think that that's also pretty much what they're putting as their profit margin. Maybe they're putting more, but yes, the merchant is also putting more, kasi nga 30% napupunta sa malls or sa grocery store, supermarket. So you can imagine siguro yung kinikita nila or yung profit margin nila is a lot bigger than 30%. So MLM products, I think also they're selling at a lot bigger than just 30%. But then they also give you the opportunity to earn from them. Malls and groceries and supermarkets will not, they don't have that. They're not going to let you do that, right? So that's the difference with MLM and malls and supermarkets. That's my opinion. Just a disclaimer: I am a very happy user of Hisana. I've been using it for 9 years now. I've been taking Hisana for 9 years, and that's it's really one of the things that I take every day and keeps me healthy. I'm also a distributor of Usana, but I don't distribute actively. It's just that I have a distributor account with them. But yeah, I think that the business model is really good. So that is it is a good marketing strategy, just because you you tap word of mouth. Diba? Salespeople of MLM, or members, or we call them associates of MLM companies, they sell directly to people in their network, people they know. And again, word of mouth marketing is the best form of marketing. So it is a good marketing. It's actually genius. It's actually a genius form of marketing strategy. What are your practical tips in managing your time? Again, from Patrick Miguel. Practical tips in managing your time. Well, here's the thing. Time goes on. Well, you can't manage time, right? You can't manage something that you can't really, you have no control of. Time goes on, whether you want it or not. The seconds keep ticking, whether you want it or not. And we all have 24 hours a day. I don't have a minute more than you do. You don't have a minute more than I do. So you don't manage your time, you manage your priorities, and you manage your energy. Those are two things that you manage. You have to make sure that your energy is 100% on the things that matter. And on the things that don't really matter, you could be a lot less than 100%, no problem, because you're reserving that energy for the things that matter. Again, the things that matter, give it your 100%. Give it your best, diba? Sabi nga sa Bible, whether you eat or drink, do it all for the glory of God. Do your best. If the president of Japan, I don't know if the Philippines or US is a good example, but if the president of Japan asks you to do something for their country or for him, it would be an honor, right? It's gonna be an honor, and you'd probably do your best with that request. So why not the same with the King of Kings, God in heaven, right? It's an honor to do your best for him on the things that matter most. So you reserve 100% of your energy there. You manage energy and you manage priority. Now, priority is the thing that matters most because hindi naman pwede everything is my priority. If everything is your priority, then nothing is priority. Diba? There's only three things, really, three major things that you can do within your day in terms of work output. So you make sure that's priority. And those three things, those three major things will get 100% of my energy. Okay? That is really the idea surrounding time management, what people call as time management. But in reality, you can't really manage time. You manage energy and you manage priority. Okay. Follow-up question to that: how do you get things done? Well, how you give it your best. You tackle it 100% with focus. Make sure you're not distracted. A lot of people, well, there are some clients I have, they don't like my habit of turning my phone to do not disturb mode because they couldn't call me or message me and I would reply a lot later. But the reason why I put my cell phone on do not disturb mode is I do a lot of thinking and creating. I like creating stuff. When I don't create stuff for the day, I feel like I didn't accomplish a lot. So as you guys know, I write, and that this is actually creating, right? I'm creating a podcast here. This recording is going to be on the podcast. It's going to be edited and published in the podcast show. So this is actually creation for me. And when I create something, I feel happy, fulfilled. I feel like I did something worthwhile for the day. If I don't, kulang. And that's why I put my phone on do not disturb mode so that I can focus on creating. And I make sure that after I created, it's created well. I gave it my best. Not a lot of clients appreciate this, but I tell them naman the reason why. It's because I create. There are times then na nakafocus ako sa account nila, optimizing it. And so, of course, they would appreciate better if I had focus. Pangit naman pag inaayos ko yung search rankings ng client, tapos kung ano-anong ginagawa ko, nagte-text, matawag, or, checking out the notification from my phone. So that's how to get things done. My wife is very good at getting things done. Her focus is amazing. Hindi na kailangan mag-D&D ng phone. Ako kailangan ko mag-D&D ng phone. From April Ko, me and my friends have been planning to do business. We already have an idea. It's tech related. But there's three of us, are not really hardcore developers. We have some practice, but we don't have technical experience doing it. What's your take on outsourcing the work versus putting in the work yourselves, especially for us who are still working full-time, so the time spent to do the work ourselves will take time? Okay, very good question. Actually, a lot of people may be in the same boat. Here's the thing, April. If you don't make it a priority to put in time and effort to study development or understand development, madadaya ka. And that's the reality of things, because you don't understand it. You don't understand if the developers you outsourced or hired is actually stealing time already from you, and you're paying them and you're bleeding money. It may be okay, you may overlook it for a time, but long term, if you don't put in the effort to study and understand development, it's going to cost you a lot. So I'm not a developer. But thank God my brother is, and he's the COO of the company for 9 years now. But I do understand code. I studied IT, I graduated IT, sure, but they almost kicked me out because I failed 28 units in LaSalle studying IT. So it's not because I studied IT na intindihan ko ng code. It's actually more of I self-studied. That's why I understand code. So it is doable, it is possible to self-study and understand some parts of it. You don't need to understand everything, but you have to understand how the system works, how much time it takes to build something from scratch, how many available open source plugins are out there that will speed up the time of development. You have to know all of these things because if not, again, madadaya ka, lugi ka long term. Pwede kang dayan, pwede kang lokohin. That's the downside of the services business. You cannot enter a services business not knowing anything about it. You have to know a lot about it actually for you to be successful at it. Because there will come a time when you want to hire in-house. Outsourcing is not a long it's not a long-term game plan because it gets more expensive, more and more expensive. So what you want to do is to make sure that you understand because you're going to hire in-house if the business succeeds to a certain degree. So there's three of you, you're not hardcore, and you have full-time job. I think there should be someone who is managing the entire thing, who is at the helm, controlling steering the ship and making the big shot decisions. Because if you don't do that, no one is going to be the head of this startup. And any startup is very delicate. Kawawa siya pag naiwanan. So one of you has to always be there. Mahirap yung tatlo kayong may full-time job. Mahirap yun. One of the reasons why I had to quit my day job is because SEO Hacker was growing fast, but it hasn't really grown to a level na hindi ko na siya kontrolin pag may full-time job ako. Kaya pa naman, pero ayoko nang pilitin. I didn't want to make sure that I'm almost gonna burn out working a day job and doing SEO Hacker. So I quit my day job so I can focus on SEO Hacker, even if it did not demand my full-time attention yet, so that it would grow better, not just faster, but grow better. So one of you guys, one of the three of you has to do this and focus on the business. We have a question from JC Del Rosario. JC, thanks for being here. What advice do you have for reaching B2B accounts? Bro, ilang beses mo na tinanong to sa akin. Now that our salespeople are not allowed to visit offices of our clients, what is the new go-to B2B sales strategy for the new normal? Well, I can only speak for what I know and what I practice, and that is really doing SEO. Maybe this is the first time I'm gonna say this, but maybe having platforms like what I'm doing now. There are people tuning in and watching and listening to this, and you guys know my business is B2B. It's digital marketing services, it's SEO services, making sure that people rank, manipulating search results for my clients. And I do get referrals. I do get good referrals actually from people who know that that's my business and who appreciate the information and the help I give doing this every night, because literally I get nothing from this from 8 to 9 p.m. every Thursdays. I don't get paid. I don't have sponsorships. That's why you don't see me advertising stuff here. So this may be something that you might want to look into. Have a platform, diba? JC Opa del Rosario. So you start your own show. I don't know. There is something that God gave you, a talent that you can share with the world, and I'm sure that people will want to tune into and appreciate. And that may be something that you could start as early as right now. So you're young. You're How young are you by JC? 28, 27, somewhere there, right? And you have the whole world ahead of you. You can start your own platform right now and see where it goes. So that could be one. Aside from that, definitely SEO, because people are still searching in Google. And I know one of my clients, it's actually his best year this year. Ironic, no? But they've been operating for a while. They've been B2B sila. B2B yung company. They've been operating for a while. But this year, the pandemic year, is their best year. And their business is nothing related to PPEs or medical equipment. It's actually chemicals for for industrial plants, mga planta. So it has nothing to do with PPEs or the virus or COVID, but it's their best year this year because they're ranking really well for their keywords. So I think that is one of the best strategies talaga. If you're ranking very well for your search terms, people are still searching. Purchasers are still using Google. So and you're ranking well as well. So I think that should be working for you. Hope I answered your question. From Mark Davis, question is how can we say that the product is overpriced? Well, it comes down to value for me. You can't really say that something is overpriced just because um, namamahalan ka sa kanya or you don't have the money to buy it. I mean, I look at a Porsche as a car that's overpriced because I don't really appreciate the value it can give. But I have a friend who told me that because of buying his Lamborghini, he was able to enter an exclusive club full of business people who owned Lamborghinis, and that those connections actually gave him more business, much more than what the Lamborghini is worth. So, ang tingin ko doon sa Lamborghini, mahal. But for him, it's actually a worthwhile purchase. Naging asset siya kasi he gained connections out of it and he made more money out of it. So I think saying something is overpriced depends on the perspective and on the value you get out of it. There are some things that really you get a little to no value out of. Yun, mahal yun. Kahit sabihin mong 10 pesos lang naman siya eh. Pero nung dumating siya, sira or wasak. Or 100 pesos lang naman siya eh. Pero nung dumating siya, hindi ko magamit kasi may topak eh. For me, yun ang mahal. Kaysa dun sa bumili ka ng 1,000 pesos, but it does really what you expected to do. It does what it was advertised to do. For me, that's not overpriced. That's actually value that you bought because you know it costs that much and it did what it was supposed to do. But the 100 pesos or the 10 pesos, mura, mura nga yung price tag niya, but the value is overpriced kasi sira siya nung dumating. So that's how I look at value and things being overpriced. Hope I answered your question. From Patrick Miguel, how to know if how do you know if your customers are happy with your service? What parameters do you use to measure this? Well, one big way to know if they're happy is if they promote you to friends and family, co-workers, peers, sister companies, etc. I was blessed early on in my entrepreneurial journey that I have a client and they referred me to their sister company. And that sister company has been with us ever since I started doing the business. That's 2009. So that's 11 years now. Freelancer pa ako nun. I officiated the business 2010 when I was 22 years old. That's why my book is titled CEO at 22. But yeah, 11 years na yung client sa amin. And that client was referred because my original client, Uratex, was so happy with the work that we did for them. And so that told me that I had something going on here. That the client is happy, which means my service must be good. It's a very good validator, and you know that they're happy when they're promoting you. What parameters do you use? You can use NPS or Net Promoter Score. You can search it out on Google what it means, but that's something that I actually discussed earlier, where you ask people how strongly would you promote or share this food or this product or this service with your friends and family or with your peers. And it's a scale of 0 to 10 or 1 to 10. If they answer 9 or 10, good, they're going to promote it. High chance of promoting it. High chance of sharing your product or service to friends and family. If their answer is 7 to 8, they're neutral. They're not going to promote you, but they also think that your product is okay. If they're 6 and below, they're detractors. It means there's something they don't like about your product or service. And the chances are, if they're asked by someone, okay ba si ganito, okay ba si SEO hacker, chances are they're gonna say, hindi okay yan. Detractors yon. 6 and below yung sagot nila. So, I use Net Promoter Score as well. And then there's a follow-up question to that. Why do you say 9 or 10? Or if their answer is anywhere from 1 to 8, how can we move that to a 9 or 10? That's a follow-up open-ended question. So that's something that you can use to measure if your customers are happy or satisfied with your work or with your product. Follow another question from Patrick. How do you start a podcast? What software do you use? Are they for free? Well, this is one avenue that I'm doing the podcast, and I'm using StreamYard right now. StreamYard has free versions. There's also the paid versions, and I'm using the paid right now because I'm streaming to 8 platforms. But you can definitely go with the free. Other software I use, Audacity for the intro, outro. Di ba wala naman akong kausap doon. Di ko naman kailangan i-stream yun sa Facebook or YouTube kasi intro, outro yun. So, I use Audacity to record. That's free. You don't pay anything for Audacity. And then, finally, you upload it to a podcast host platform. There are free platforms like Buzzsprout is free. I use podcast.co because they had a lifetime deal and I paid for that lifetime deal, so I'm using it now. And yeah, basically it's free now for me because I paid one time only instead of paying monthly for the podcast hosting. Why is it a good idea to start a podcast? I think it's only a good idea if you have a purpose or a mission, and that is to help people with what you know, or to help people by sharing stuff that you're ahead of. So for me, that's about entrepreneurship, leadership, management. That's something that I know I can help people with and share to others, even if I don't get paid. Because again, I'm not getting anything out of this. 8 to 9 p.m. every Thursday night. I'm not getting anything. It is a purpose, a mission, and a calling. So if I'm looking for making money, I'm not going to do this. Starting a podcast is a bad reason if you want to make money. That is really what I think. But if you just want to help people, I think starting a podcast is a fantastic way to do it. From Mark Davis, follow-up question. Are there guidelines that our government provided about this? Kasi na-issue face shield dati. About things being overpriced. Yes, I think there are guidelines. I am not aware of them. But I think there's a lot of people during that time kasi hoarding PPEs, face shields, face masks. And so our government had to intervene. Other than that, I don't think there's a lot of regulations about dictating the price range of your product or service. I really don't. So, yeah, I think it's an isolated case. Medyo fringe case yung nangyari, no, with the PPEs. And that's because we're playing with lives, eh. You hoard PPEs and sell it for a very expensive price. People can't buy. What happens is people will get the virus, and that's gonna make our government bleed more money in terms of healthcare. Or if they don't bleed money, then people are gonna die, suffer. So it's more of an ethical issue in that case. No? Shout out to Johnny Chotrani. Thank you for being here tonight. How are you, my friend? It's been a while. And Jordan Bidaure, thank you for being here. Good evening. If you want to ask your question, please join us in this link right here from lechon.c/discord. That is where I'm going to answer your question. Don't post it on Facebook or on YouTube. And this is because we want to build the community and we want to give you more value. And we want you also to be part of this value. So please join us on Discord instead of posting your questions on Facebook or YouTube. We have a question from M. We have a product and siya yung bread and butter ng company namin for 5 years now. Plan namin mag-expand. Magkano ba ang dapat na ilaan namin sa marketing? Ilang percent ba ng income ang ideal? All right. Very good question. My answer to that, M, and since I run a digital marketing company and I do marketing and advertising myself, I don't really put in a percentage of the budget. That's not how I do things. So I cannot tell you na you have to put like 10% or 20%. I'm sure if you Google it, may mga sinasabing best practices out there. But if you ask me, what I'm going to tell you is, if there is a campaign that you can run that would give you good returns on the investment in that marketing or advertising campaign, go for that. Especially if you're 5 years pa lang in the market. Startup ka pa. Nasa startup phase ka pa. On your 6th, 7th, all the way to 10th year, you're scaling up. You're making sure that your processes, legal documents, accounting, everything's clean. Everything is systematized. That's the scale up phase. Right now, you're still at the tail end of the startup phase. So, the marketing budget, in my opinion, has to be invested in things that would bring returns. For me, I'm not. I know it sounds biased because I own SEO Hacker, but really, if you're gonna look at the return on investment, SEO is the best return on investment. Because if you advertise on Facebook or Instagram, these are people who are browsing kasi wala sila magawa. May oras sila. May oras tayo. Whenever we're on Facebook or Instagram, it's because we have time to kill. It's not because we have a mission or we're trying to complete a task. It's marami tayong oras. And okay lang sa atin magsayang ng oras sa Facebook or Instagram. So imagine if you run an ad there, however targeted it is. Kahit sabihin mong ang target ko, male, this age range 30 to 40 or 30 to 50, and mahilig sa relos. But they're browsing just because they have time to kill. Compared to Google, people in Google are searching for something. They're laser focused. They have an intention to buy. They have an intention to spend. And so the difference in intent is huge when you're doing social media marketing versus when you're doing SEO. Now, there's a question, Sean, why don't I run Google Ads na lang kaysa sa mag-SEO kami kasi mas mahal ang SEO kaysa sa Google Ads? You're right. But Google Ads is like renting. The moment you stop paying Google, your search listing disappears. SEO is like owning. Even if you stop paying the SEO company, your rankings will stick. Also, with SEM, you know how it is, the millennial generation, all the way to the younger ones, Gen Z. We're ad blind. Kasama pala ako doon, no? Millennial pala. We're ad blind. We don't like clicking ads. We don't like ads being on our faces. So when we see that it's a Google ad, we don't click it. I don't know. Ikaw ba, do you click Google ads? I don't know about you, but I don't click on Google ads. I click the first organic result because I know I'm not going to be sold something when I click on the organic result. But when I click on the paid result, I know that they're gonna sell me something because they're running ads. They're gonna want to make their money back, right? So if we're talking ROI, SEO, definitely the best, if not one of the best. That's where I'm gonna put the money. So I'm not gonna tell you spend only 20% of your marketing budget or 30%. For me, invest in good SEO. If hindi nyo kayang mag-invest ngayon ng ganong klaseng money, then do it yourself. DIY nyo muna yung SEO nyo. There's so many resources out there for you to learn and do SEO yourself. Because you can do it yourself. I'm saying this and I own an SEO company. I started out doing it myself as a freelancer. And then I built processes. And right now, we're a 50-man team. We're handling around 50 plus clients. And we're doing it because systematized na siya and my playbook works. But that's not to say that it's the only playbook out there. You can make your own playbook. There's a lot of ways to do SEO. My suggestion is do it ethically, or the white hat method, rather than the gray or black hat, which is unethical or a mix of ethical and unethical. Okay. Thank you for your question. And I hope that makes it clear. JC, thank you naman sa pag-promote sa akin dito sa Discord channel natin. I appreciate that, brother. So, we have a follow-up question from Mad Mags. Do you think food business can survive and grow if I go full online? Yes, definitely. Especially now. Again, I think this new normal that we are in is gonna go all the way till, realistically speaking, in my opinion, 2022. So, mga 2 years pa tayong ganito. And if mga 2 years pa tayong ganito here, at least here in the Philippines, then going full online with your food business, it's gonna work. Actually, I think it would work better than having your food stall business, having a physical store, because you're gonna pay rent pa and stuff. So just do it all online. You can't really say na pero Sean ang saturated na eh. It's saturated because it works eh. That's why people are doing it. If not, then people won't be there. And also, how visible can you get? Online is where people are. Di ba, we're in the low touch economy nga raw. Low touch, yeah, low physical touch. But all the touches went to smartphones and laptops and computers, because the sessions that we see right now in the analytics behind the clients' websites, at least on our clients, is huge. Madaming nagbo-browse. Madaming pumuntang online ngayon. Maraming bumibili sa e-commerce sites ngayon. A lot more than when it was, when things were normal back then. So definitely, that is something that I recommend. Have an online strategy. Maybe start with the Facebook page. Start with the free stuff, right? Don't spend too much money going online, especially if you don't really know what you're doing yet and you're testing things out. Don't spend too much money. Just be frugal about it. I'm not saying be cheap, but be frugal, be wise in how you spend. Kung kailangan mo talagang gumastos because it's gonna make money for you, then by all means, spend there. But don't be cheap. Don't, wag mong kuriputin yung business mo or yung suppliers mo. Okay. Yes. All right. I think that is the last question. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning. Oh, we have a follow up question now from April Co. All right. When you started SEO Hacker versus the stage the business is now, did your time spent working on the business become lesser? Or you're still very hands on? April, this is a very timely question. And the reason behind that is so this is our 10th year doing business, right? We started 2010. And there was a time where my time doing the legwork itself became less, because I have a team surrounding me, fantastic team, by the way. They're really good in what they do. And I have my leadership team as well, who are really good in leading the company. So if I chose to just be invisible, I could have, and things would still work. They may not work as well or as smoothly, but they would still work. So I could actually relax a little bit. However, a couple of weeks ago, one of our people passed away due to COVID. And at a very young age as well, 24. I think last week I was able to say this already. And she was one of my SEO specialists. So what happened is I'm back in the fray doing SEO work. And one of our people also have a problem. Her dad has a health problem. So I'm also doing social media marketing work, social media advertising work. So yeah, I'm very much into the business again right now. And actually, that's one big reason why we're hiring, because we need more people to help out. But yeah, I'm seeing the things that need to be seen, the things that need to be fixed, because I'm working in the business right now again. But it's not because we scaled up wrong or we lack processes and systems. It's because of unforeseen events. No one wants people passing away suddenly, and no one wants people having their parents having health problems. So it's a series of unfortunate events, I would say, that got me back working in the business, and my time being taken up once more. But aside from that, actually it had been lesser and lesser, because I was able to delegate more and trust people to do the work, and however they want to do it, it's up to them. Also, again, I have leaders who are fantastic in leading their own teams. And so they are very capable people. They can run the company. The company can run pretty much without me. So definitely the time I spend working in the business is less. Time spent working on the business, looking at where we can improve, systems we can create, processes we can improve on, or training my people in terms of leadership, doing workshops. That's what I did actually for the most part. So I do free workshops for my people, leadership workshops, management workshops, and they get it for free because I want them to improve as leaders, managers, and generally, I want them to improve as a person holistically. Hi, Flair. Thank you for tuning in. And Sarah, thank you for tuning in. Although we are wrapping up already, that's the last question. We have 10 more minutes, but that's it. Again, I want to share with you guys lang, we are hiring with SEO Hacker. If you missed it earlier, I'm gonna just pull it up here again quickly. The website is seohacker.services/jobs. So we are hiring. We have a lot of open positions. I'm 32 years old. A lot of my team members are younger than me. So you can imagine we're a very young, dynamic team. Also, a very fun team to be with and work with. We have a lot of seminars, workshops that we give for free. Even now, we do it via Zoom. I still teach and speak. And hey, I do this once a week. Itong Ask Me Anything, this Leadership Stack Live for all of you guys. We do have an office. We have the second floor and third floor of a building here in BF Parañaque, but we've been working from home since January. So if you're okay working from home, not going to the office because we don't want to risk anyone's health, then definitely try to apply. We have a lot of openings here: admin assistant, backend developer, writer, link builder, blog manager, graphic designer, project manager, human resources, SEO specialist, account manager, digital marketing consultant, web designer, and web developer. Ang dami nun, guys. So if you need work or if you know anyone who needs work and has the skill set and has the drive to also work, please show them this site and ask them to apply. We need people. There are write-ups here that tell you about the job already. So please read them, what the ideal candidate will have, what winning looks like, few things we want you to know. Everything's here. So please read these things if you intend to apply, and just send us your full name, email address, phone, position you're applying for, and your resume or CV. My HR will get this, I will get this, and we will get in touch with you. And if you've missed some of the episodes that we have published this week on the podcast, again, we are on Spotify. Actually, the reason why I'm doing this is because we have the podcast on Spotify and we have guests from all over the world, entrepreneurs with different specializations. For this week, it's all about being financially fit by Tracy Bissett, all the way from the US of A. So if you've missed that, it's 19 minutes, and the other episode that we have with her is 17 minutes. You can pick up where you left off and just tune in. Just spend this time listening to that so you can improve your financial fitness. I hope that helps, and please do hit the follow button on Spotify if I've provided value for you tonight, or if the podcast provides value for you. Thanks so much. Naubusan na ako ng boses, guys. Halata naman at magdi-dinner din pa ako. Again, we're 7 minutes early, but I hope you guys learned a lot tonight. I just want to thank you for being here and tuning in. And I hope to see you next week.